Oh my gosh, that smells. Newsflash, if no one ever tells you that your breath smells bad, it doesn't mean that your breath doesn't smell bad. They're probably just being nice to you. Now, if you know that your breath stinks, have you ever wondered why it stinks? Studies show that 50 to 60% of people believe they have halitosis or bad breath from time to time. And 31% of people feel like they have bad breath all the time. Now, if this sounds like you, don't worry, because in this video, I'm gonna go over 6 ways that you can naturally improve your breath for good. Number 1, this is gonna sound really basic, but it's drink more water. Why? Because if you're dehydrated, this can cause you to have a dry mouth because you won't have enough saliva in your mouth. And dry mouth is one of the biggest causes of having bad breath. Your saliva is crucial for washing away different plaque and bacteria and germs on your teeth and keeping your mouth just moist. I know that sounds weird, but if you stay hydrated, naturally drinking enough water will help clean your mouth, but also you'll be able to produce enough saliva that will produce these antibacterial properties and wash away all the nasty junk in your mouth. And a quick bonus tip just to get more saliva, after every meal, I would try to chew some sort of sugar-free gum, preferably something that has xylitol in it, because chewing gum or chewing really anything will stimulate more saliva production. So not only will the gum improve your breath, especially if you have like one of those minty flavors, but also increasing the salivary flow in your mouth will also help improve your breath. Now, why do I recommend xylitol? Because xylitol is the only sugar substitute that can actively prevent cavities. It's an antibacterial. So not only do you get the benefit of increasing your saliva, improving your breath, now you get the benefit of preventing cavities. Now, while we're talking about a dry mouth, it could also be from some sort of medication. If you're taking quite a few medications, a lot of them can have the side effect of xerostomia, or in other words, dry mouth. If this sounds like you, I would talk to your doctor to see if there's anything that they can change, or talk to your dentist to see if there's anything that you can add or any medication that you can add to improve your saliva. Now, tip number 2 is gonna sound a little weird, but it's tape your mouth shut at night. Huh? Have you ever had that morning breath where you wake up, there's drool on the side of your cheek and on your pillow, and then you do a big yawn, and then you smell your breath and like, oh my God, I need to brush my teeth. Well, the reason that your breath smells so bad in the morning is mainly because you have a dry mouth. First of all, anytime you're sleeping, your mouth produces less saliva. So this is also why it's so important to brush before you go to sleep, because you have less of that saliva that's gonna keep your teeth clean. But if you combine this with the fact that you're sleeping and your mouth is open and you're snoring really has nothing to do with this particular part, but with your mouth being open, you're drying away all the saliva that's in your mouth. And again, like we said before, dry mouth equals bad breath. So the tape that I recommend using is something called 3M micropore paper tape. It's literally just this medical grade tape that you rip off a tiny piece and put it over your lips to help keep your mouth closed and encourage nasal breathing when you're sleeping. When you breathe through your mouth, you will cause a ton more dehydration as opposed to breathing in and out through your nose. A quick way to help show this is try to fog up a glass or something like that. You're probably gonna have to breathe out through your mouth to fog it up. Now try doing the same thing with your nose. You're probably not gonna be able to fog it up, and that's because less water is escaping through your nose. Now I made other videos on the importance of nasal breathing versus mouth breathing and why nasal breathing is so much better, because there are a ton of other benefits, but I don't have time for that in this video, and you don't wanna watch that in this video either. But if you are interested, make sure you check out the description below because I'm gonna put some content there. Now, tip number 3 is gonna be to clean your tongue. One of the biggest reasons other than dry mouth that people have bad breath is they do not clean their tongue. A lot of the bacteria that cause bad breath actually hang around on your tongue. So if you're brushing your teeth and you're flossing like normal, but you're not cleaning your tongue, you're actually missing a lot. I'd recommend using a tongue scraper. They're really cheap and really easy to use. You just grab one and then scrape your tongue from the back to the front and then rinse it off. Or at the very least, brush your tongue with your toothbrush. Cleaning your tongue is just as important as cleaning your teeth. Now, the 4th way to improve your breath is adding some breath-friendly foods. We always hear about foods that make our breath smell worse, like onions and garlic and all that stuff. It tastes really good, but our breath can linger for hours afterwards. Now, foods that will improve our breath, on the other hand, are things like apples, celery, parsley, or mint. What you eat has a huge influence on your breath. So fresh fruits and vegetables like apples and celery, first of all, act as a natural toothbrush because they have a lot of water in them, they have a lot of fiber, and they have a lot of scrubbing action when they're in their mouth. So as you're chewing them, they're effectively cleaning your teeth. Plus, they'll increase salivary flow. Now again, anything you eat will increase your saliva, but if you're eating a ton of junk foods and stuff like that, that's gonna contribute to the bad bacteria in your mouth, because really any carbohydrates or starchy foods will contribute to those bad bacteria in your mouth and also contribute to more bad breath. But again, these things like apples and celery are good for your teeth and good for your mouth. And on top of the cleaning action, they will also increase the saliva. So kind of like chewing gum, how it's effectively cleaning your teeth and improving the smell of your breath. Now, different herbs like parsley and mint will also improve your breath, not only because of the salivary flow, but for other reasons as well. These herbs like mint and parsley also have these oils in them that will help improve your breath. You probably smell it when you're cutting it or chopping it or adding it to your food. They smell pretty good. This is why they have minty flavored toothpaste or chewing gum or other products like that. Now, the fifth tip I have is adding some mouthwash. Now, I don't think everybody needs mouthwash, but if you've tried everything, you're brushing and you're flossing and you tried everything else on my list and nothing's working and you're still having bad breath, and then adding a mouthwash really won't hurt. If you rinse with an antibacterial mouthwash, it will still kill the germs that are responsible for bad breath. But you want to be careful. You don't want to choose an alcohol-based mouthwash because alcohol also dries your mouth. So you might be doing more harm than good with an alcohol mouthwash. There's plenty of good mouthwashes now that are alcohol-free. Now, tip number 6 is to check for acid reflux. Now, here's a tip that a lot of people simply won't realize. Having acid reflux can secretly be a big cause for your bad breath. Acid reflux is basically when your stomach acid goes from your stomach and it can go all the way up closer to your esophagus and even end up in your mouth. Now, in doing so, it'll also bring odors with this and it will not smell good. Now, one way to avoid this is to avoid really acidic foods, avoid really spicy foods, and also avoid eating too close to nighttime. Or in other words, just avoid eating right before you go to sleep to give more time for your dinner to digest. The other problem with acid reflux is as this stomach acid will enter your mouth, it lowers the pH in your mouth. So on top of it causing bad breath, having a lower pH in your mouth will make you more susceptible to having cavities and gum disease. Now, cavities and gum disease are also two things that are not known for smelling good. They're actually known for smelling bad. So it can even make that bad breath even worse. So definitely suggest talking to your doctor if this is a concern to you. Now, I know I already talked about my 6 tips, but I'm gonna give you a couple bonus tips as well. The first bonus tip I have is just getting regular dental care. So I know I talked about brushing and flossing and potentially using a mouthwash at home, but also going to the dentist every 6 months. It's surprising how many people come to me after years of neglecting the dentist and they are convinced they have one problem or another that is contributing to their bad breath that literally makes no sense when I look in their mouth and I see plaque and tartar and bacteria all over their mouth that they simply just need to get a cleaning to get cleaned away. Like sometimes you could smell gum disease from outside the room if it's really bad. Now, the second bonus tip I have is get your dental work done if you need it. If you have cavities and you're neglecting getting them worked on, well, cavities can also contribute to bad breath. I mean, think about it. You have this hole inside of your tooth that all these bacteria are eating away at, and they're just not going away. Over time, that's bound to smell bad. And on top of that, if that cavity gets too big, then it can spread into the nerve inside your tooth and cause a lot of pain and even a potential infection. And that's bound to not smell good. But now at this point, the bad breath smell is probably the least of your worries. So make sure you get your dental work done. So that's all I have for you guys. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Do you ever just wish you had whiter teeth? Well, luckily we do have teeth whitening. Now, how effective really are these different teeth whitening products and how safe are they? Well, in this video, I'm going to go over how teeth whitening works. And I'm also going to go over some situations where teeth whitening doesn't work so well. So make sure you stick around because I'm going to go over some other